All right. Hey, just real quick, it's been a bad couple weeks for Lil Durk. First, he getting sued by Mama Duck, and now 5 OTF affiliates just got indicted in California for the unaliving of Little Pab, Quando Rondo's cousin. And it said that they paid for their flights using credit cards that link to OTF. That's how they paid for their rental cars also. So, I mean, y'all still think Mama Duck ain't got a case now? Y'all still think so? I don't know. It's getting rough for Durk. All right, so we're here today to talk about snitching, right? And the last couple weeks or so, it's been that word's been getting tossed around a lot, especially with Meech coming home and the whole Tammy Cowens and Cuffy thing, which is what we're gonna talk about today. So today we're going to be reacting to a video from Klip Reacts Reloaded. And I've held y'all long enough. Let's go ahead and get into it.
Prison and serving 20 years on a 30-year sentence. There's been a lot of narratives floating around on why he actually got out 10 years early. I've been consuming a lot of content and doing my own work on why he actually... And I was watching No Jumper, and Brick Baby said something that sparked a light bulb in my thoughts and started to make me think.
I can tell you every story, then I can tell you what's gonna be the biggest politic right now. What I'm saying is, no, they trying to already put the word out that he used the girl third party to tell why he was in jail. That's gonna be his biggest politic. I'm gonna go for it because at the end of the day, I'm gonna just no for real, because I already seen like 4 videos about it. That's my big homie. I got this death before dishonor tatted up. Never dug into, they had tried to X Blue Da Vinci out for taking a proper, all that. They ain't did nothing but show me. I was 17 years old when I got into that.
After he said that, I started to do my homework and came across an interview with Blue Da Vinci on Cam Capone News. And they had a conversation with a guy by the name of Cuffy, where he claimed Big Meech coerced an informant named Tammy to set him up and get him 27 years.
How did Meech have information on you and give it to Tammy, and how did all that come together where they were able to, put all that together?
How did Meech have information on you and give it to Tammy so you could get caught up in it? How did that happen? So that means you got to go back to the movie.
Okay, so let me take them back. So me and Tammy were working on the BMF movie. I originally had the script and paid for the script for the BMF movie, not the show that 50's doing on Stars. But I originally paid for the script for the BMF movie, so we were shopping the movie.
So Tammy was involved at that time, which is CS1. So
Tammy Cowan, CS1 had all Meech's life rights.
Right. And what year was that?
This all the way back in 2010.
Okay.
Now, according to Blue Da Vinci, she got Meech's life rights in like 2008. So this timeline is pretty much correct, I'm pretty sure.
So
we proved that there was a legitimate business.
Right.
Legal business.
Right.
So, Meech, so let's take it back. The original target was the guy by the name of Fidel Suarez. That was a Mexican cartel member out of California.
Now, hold on. I thought I seen that picture on there. That's not Fidel Suarez. His name is Fidel Suarez. But that guy is actually Cuban. Yeah, that guy's name is Fidel Suarez Cruz. He was a Cuban farmer and became an independent member of the pro-democracy Party for Human Rights in Cuba and went through like a whole different thing. So I'm not sure why they're showing his picture there.
He was the initial target.
Right. Fidel Suarez was the initial target out of Cali.
His name is in the paperwork.
Right.
Tammy was trying to get Suarez.
I just added a small clip of the conversation, but
now this other Fidel Suarez that's in this Cuffy case, I couldn't find any other information on him. So that's kind of iffy all in itself. And I swear to God, this whole thing with Cuffy and Tammy Cohen's, however she says her name, and Meech, this whole thing could be a movie all in itself. I mean, this rabbit hole is deep. It's crazy, y'all. It could be a movie all in itself. They could sell the rights to this, and all three of them make money off this.
That phone call was about 7.
Especially the Tammy Cohen's perspective. If you're gonna dive down a rabbit hole this weekend, and y'all got time to dive down this rabbit hole, dive down the Tammy Cohen's rabbit hole. Come on.
Minutes long.
It's wild.
So I started to dig some more, and I came across some audio of Cuffy's daughter restoring her father's honor and telling the world that Big Meech is no good and he snitched on her father, which is why he in the feds right now serving almost 30 years.
I'm Tamara Gatling. I'm making this recording in regards to my dad. He's Dion Gatling. Most people know him as Cuffy, but in 2011, around that time, Meech reached out to my dad in regards to creating a BMF movie. So Meech hooked my dad up with a woman named Tammy Cohen's. At the time, Tammy was Meech's power of attorney. Also, she owned the life rights. So my dad was working with Meech, Tammy, T, basically trying to work on a movie. Finally arrested my dad and we received the discovery. He knew exactly who CS1 was, and he told me and my mom that it was Tammy Cohen's. At that time, we really did not want to believe. We wanted to give Meech the benefit of the doubt. It was really, really hard to believe that Meech would set my dad up. It was almost unbelievable. So we were able to reach out, get a message to Meech, and basically let him know that Tammy was an informant. We later received a message from him saying that it had to be a misunderstanding. Just call her, she'll straighten this out, so on, so on. And at this time, my dad was like, I'm not dumb, I'm not about to call an informant.
The more digging I did, the more information I found. And from the looks of it, Cuffy been pushing this narrative of Big Meech being a rat, being an informant, being a snitch for about 15 years. And I came across a jail phone call.
Nah, I think since 2014, so about 10 years. Because I think he got locked up in 2013, 2014, which is when he found out he got his paperwork and he started trying to put 2 and 2 together.
Where Cuffy explained it all.
The first time I met her in person at the Intercontinental in Buckhead, and she came across very striking, but it was something I couldn't put my finger on because I was like, how does this type of woman get involved? I couldn't figure it out because she seemed so out of place. You know what I'm saying? But at the time, I didn't question it. I just did what I was asked to do, which was to look out for the family. So I was looking out.
Hey, Tammy got a long history of being about that life, though. We gonna go into that.
Trying to connect with her. I was dealing with Tony at the time. They were trying to do their little BMF. Long story short, I held Wayne down the entire time he was out in jail. Took care of some things for him. So when he came home, we had already been writing on the story based on Pop's perspective and involvement. And then he put me with Sosa, and Sosa blew my head off because no one in the organization, no one around could tell me about the old school shit. All I could tell me is about, going forward from California, how everything came to be.
But see, Sosa and myself, we all before all of that. You feel me?
Right.
Sosa is a day one. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
And see, Meech, I'm the first put $1 million in his pocket. He never seen that till he came to the loop. You feel me?
I heard about you, dog. I heard you was just an outstanding dude, man. Take care of your business, and your reputation in a good way preceded itself. So I understand now, based on from what we've dealt with and seen with this whole thing with Tammy, man. Speak on that for me.
What Meech and Tammy did is called, because you're not in the system. Thank God you're not. I hate to see brothers in this system. But brothers who are familiar with this system, this is a nasty, nasty system. What Meech and Tammy did was called a third-party cooperation. What happened was this call.
Hey, there's channels out here saying that there's no such thing as a third-party cooperation. I looked it up. You can find it on Google. There absolutely is. That's absolutely a thing.
It's from a federal prison. Originally, I was put with Tammy. I paid for the script. I paid $250,000. That's my script. That's why 50 when he came in, because we put a cease and desist order in through my attorney. That's why they couldn't do a motion picture. That's why you didn't see the BMF story on the big screen. So 50 ran it through that, then he ran that other that he do. So what happened was, homie, I wasn't even the original target. They wanted to get a little Mexican. He's actually a cartel member out of L.A. named Suarez. You'll see his name in the paperwork, Fidel Suarez. He was their initial target. You feel me?
Right.
He was their initial target. But with me calling in.
Now, with that being said, this Fidel Suarez, the Mexican cartel guy, his name pops up nowhere else besides the paperwork, which I don't have it yet because Pacer hasn't authenticated my account yet for some reason. But it's on the way. It's on the way, probably early next week. But there is another video where they're claiming Meech's name is in his paperwork. And I did listen to another video where she had the paperwork and she was showing it. His name is in the paperwork, but not as an informant and not as what did he call him? An unindicted co-defendant. It just has his name mentioned in the conversation.
While they were trying to set up Fidel Suarez, she clicked over and told the Fed or the agents who was listening to her and Suarez, hold on, this is Cuff. And when they heard the name Cuff, they went, and that's when her and Meech turned the scheme toward me. You feel me? So what it did,
that part right there makes absolutely no sense to me. Because why would they go after, compared to a cartel member, would be a low-level dealer compared to a cartel member or mid-level? Why would they go away from the cartel guy and come at him? That part makes no sense to me. The feds always want the bigger fish.
This is what it was supposed to do. It was supposed to give Meech a time cut for her cooperation and set me up. But also, it kills two birds with one stone. It puts me in jail, and now they don't have to split any of the revenue with me. My buddy and my partner along with me, his name is Louis Burrell. That's MC Hammer's big brother.
I don't think they would have had to split any of the proceeds from the show with him at all. Because he was involved with getting a movie written, a script for a movie. Probably not the same as this show.
That's who Tammy was coming out here to see.
That was me.
I'm gonna tell you the year. That was 2015. No, that was like 14.
Way earlier than that. It started way earlier than that. Way earlier than that. Around 2010, homie. Way earlier than that.
I'm sorry. Yeah, we gotta go way back.
We put $50 million on the table through Lionsgate Films, through Louis Burrell's Connect in the movie industry up there. Now, what we did not know is why Tammy would turn down that deal with me and Louis Burrell getting 20% of that budget. You understand what I'm saying? For a finder's fee. So what ended up happening was we didn't know that they had other plans and that she was sleeping with the feds and that they would put me off in prison and run away with my script and don't have to give me anything. So it was supposed to give me a time cut and knock me out of my percentage, me and Louis Burrell out of our percentage for the finder's fee with Lionsgate's film. Well, Lionsgate, when Louis went, so they backdoored us. Lionsgate shot it down when Louis Burrell was no longer a part of it. You feel me?
Right.
So Tammy's whole thing fell apart. Meech couldn't get a time cut because they found out Tammy has no credibility. Because when you can't have a relationship with a federal agent, now you have no credibility. So they thing blew up. They thing fell all the way apart and blew up. That's why Meech didn't get a time cut. But Tammy testified in open court that she signed up to be a DA informant to give Demetrius Flannery a time cut.
This call is from a federal prison.
Special Agent Keith Cromer testified that Demetrius Flannery knew about this whole thing, but he just wanted to keep his name out of the documents.
Now, from what I heard, that part was actually not true. I'll verify that once I do get the paperwork, because I mean it's going to be in the transcripts if she did or if she didn't. But like I said, I listened to somebody read the transcripts. It was like almost an hour-long video, and that part was never brought up. She would have brought it up too, because that's what she was looking for.
The special agent told Flannery that he could not do that. He can only do that if Cuff don't go to trial. And with Cuff's record, he can't afford to go to trial. You understand what I'm saying?
Correct.
But in the midst of all of this, she ends up flipping on the special agent Keith Cromer, and their whole deal went in the trash. So that's why we're at the point to where we're at now.
That's what I said. Like this whole Cuffy Tammy Cowens thing is weird. It's just it's really weird. This could be its own movie. So if we're going by what Blue Da Vinci said, she didn't get cool with Meech or meet Meech at all while he was out. She got cool with Meech while he was in prison, and she was writing them letters and stuff. But according to her and her court testimony, she met Meech in 2003 through Blue Da Vinci. So I don't know what's going on there. But there's another thing that doesn't make sense. Cuffy got locked up 2013, 2014, and that's when she was trying to bargain and get Meech some time off, right? Well, he not the first kingpin that she done testified against.
Dion Jackman.
This call will be recorded and subject to monitoring at any time. To accept this call, press 5. To block this call, you may begin speaking now.
I don't know Terry White personally. A lot of my friends, a good friend of mine by the name of Kenny from Atlanta, one of the first guys who introduced us to Atlanta, me and Meech and Auntie, Kenny Miles, good friend of his. Terry White became something of interest to us because when we got the profile of the, let me start that back over. When you have an accuser as a CI, a confidential source, as in Tammy Cowens, they have to give you her whole profile, who she previously cooperated against.
Oh.
You feel me?
Uh-huh.
And this is how the name Terry White came about. So after I made a few phone calls around Atlanta, I found out that he was a player out of Atlanta, money getting nigga. As it concerns her, he was, to my understanding, it's an old game that niggas run in real estate. Like I said, I flip houses my whole life, so I know all the tricks of the trade.
Uh-huh.
But so what guys would do is get young ladies to purchase a home with the promise that he's going to put a tenant in it. He's going to put a tenant in the house to pay the note.
Okay.
In return for the young lady buying the house, which will be overpriced. Eventually, homes. What usually happens, those properties goes into foreclosure. So what happened with her was she did the deal with him, which is illegal. This is illegal to do. Where she was promised something like $20,000. So I guess she got her money, but she was looking for a relationship with this guy, Terry White.
Oh.
She came to Terry. This is what she testified in open court. She came to Terry White's home, and he had another young lady there. And Terry just told her, "Get the fuck on. It's my woman here." And she picked up the phone and called the FBI, and that's what happened.
And she cooperated against him.
Against Terry White, yeah.
That's not verbatim what she said in court. Basically, she never said what their relationship was. But Terry White first said that she was his girlfriend. And then he later said that they were just friends.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And so she wasn't in any trouble again. The government knew nothing about this. But she felt that she was slighted by him or tricked by him. But it really what triggered it was the relationship him having with the other woman.
Wow.
I don't know about that.
And so in the process, she had told the government about some warehouse properties that he was bragging about. And when they went to those properties, they found hundreds of pounds of marijuana. So that's how he ended up getting the fraud charge and a drug charge of marijuana.
Oh, so they gave him a fraud charge for the house too.
For the home, yeah, for the house.
Damn.
Now, according to Blue Da Vinci, I'm pretty sure he said he was still messing with her all the way until like 2009. So she was messing with this Terry White and Blue Da Vinci.
This is why Terry White's name is in the paperwork, to explain that to your audience.
This call is from a federal
Okay, so Tammy Cohen's, you can't really find too much info about her online except for the fact that she's like the CEO of BMF Entertainment. And I found out that she was married right around the same time, but her husband passed away in 2007. Now, what kind of dude was her husband? To me, it seemed like he was about that street life too, and he passed away due to a car accident or like a motorcycle accident. But it seemed to me he was about that life too. So maybe that was her ticket into that BMF circle, because he was black, and he was doing his thing down in Atlanta, allegedly. So, like I said, yeah, maybe that was her ticket. Maybe that's how she got linked up with Blue Da Vinci. We know that's how Meech got hooked up with her, through Blue Da Vinci. And maybe that's probably how she got hooked up with Terry White too, through her husband. Now, the DEA, she was actually a paid informant from the DEA. Cuffy seems to think that she got paid $250,000 just to set him up, but no, she has other, according to Al Prophet too, she has other cases out there spread out throughout the state that she helped and cooperated on. So she's a professional paid informant for the feds. Okay, that's why I said this chick's life could be a movie. Like this whole snitching stuff, this could be a whole separate movie, and it would be good. Like this thing goes so deep. And I was trying to remember where I had heard her name before, and I don't really follow Blue Da Vinci all like that. So I'm like, okay, well, I don't know where I heard her name. Well, then I remembered a Vlad TV interview that he did with Tonisha Welch.
I don't know if you heard the story about Tammy Cohen.
I haven't.
Okay.
You can explain it.
I'm explaining the story. Tammy Cohen is now the executive producer of the BMF show, the BMF Star Show. She has Meech rights. I was doing this show, so when T was locked up, T asked me to call her. I blindly called her, and she just immediately went off on me. Like, what the hell? You know, I'm on probation. By this time, it's like 2014, 13, 14. And the next day after that conversation, I get called down to my probation officer. I'm looking at my young son because this has never happened to me. I've been on probation a couple of years now, like, what's going on? So I told my youngest son, when I called him, I said, hey, come over here. I got my probation officer called me. I got to go turn myself in. Not turn myself in. I said, I got to go see her. And he said, what's going on? I said, I don't know. She told me she's giving me an hour to get there. I get down to my probation officer, my son in the car. I said, if I don't come out in a couple of hours, call the lawyer. I get in there. Tammy Cohen is a government informant. So she says, my probation officer is sitting there and some other guy.
Mind you, this interview was like 2 years ago.
I can't remember his name, but I just knew he was part of the DEA. And he had that come in, I go in, I'm like, fuck. This is everybody's nightmare. I already did my time. Only thing I wanted to come home and do is take care of myself, take care of my family, make amends for my mother, redeem myself through, the world or anybody that I felt like I affected. So they told me, and he says, you know what this is about? And I said, no. He said, well, you threatened a government informant, and that's a federal offense. And it's
Hey, make sure y'all hit that like button.
plus it's a violation of your probation. And I said, well, who did I threaten? I don't know what you're talking about. So he go over the story, and I'm sitting there, and I'm telling you, I've heard of people killing themselves not to go back to prison. I went to prison, man. I went to prison. When I say I came home and all these people were going at my head, all these people I helped, all these people, I'm a mother. I was somebody's daughter. I lost my father, lost my mother. I was somebody's daughter. And here you are. You didn't put in no work. No work. All you did is start writing a man, and this man befriended you, gave you his life rights. And just because you've been a government informant since 2008, you have the right to tell them that I threatened you. I went on, they told me that they were gonna arrest me. They were gonna charge me. I'm in there, I'm hyperventilating. I'm in this little room with, they shut the door. It's no knob on this side, because if you wanted to run, you couldn't get out. They're talking to me. I'm had to, I'm like, I'm just like fear. Fear had set through my body. I couldn't, I'm going to prison. This woman is finished to take my life away from me. Take my whole life. I did my time. Out of them 200 people, none of them said I'm on their paperwork. I did my time. I came home broke. I lost everything I had before I even went to prison, even before I met these two, Terry and his brother.
Hey, I want y'all to listen how ruthless this Tammy Cohen is.
So everything I had, everything I gained, I lost. It's okay, because of my lifestyle. But who would give a person the right to tell another person to lock me back up because I came home to figure out another way to make money? This been hunting me for years. So eventually, this stayed over my head for about a year. My father had stage 4 cancer. I thought I wasn't going. They told me I couldn't go home to visit him. Eventually, the case went away because they put it under investigation. She couldn't prove what I did, prove that I threatened her. And then after that, she has did interviews about me. Like her and Sauce was going at my head. For what reason? I don't even know y'all. Have done multiple interviews about me. Talking about who I am. Like, no, who are you? So I thought that when we were coming here, I know like Blue and...
So they started doing multiple interviews, tearing down her character. Don't that sound like a Fed tactic to you guys? Like what the Feds is doing to Diddy right now? Tearing down his character?
They had this big thing on Instagram and going, that conversation was about her. Yes, she's a government informant. Yes, she's been a government informant since 2008. Yes, she tried to get me locked back up. But for my attorney and my probation officer, they didn't lock me back up. But can you imagine the fear that my son had, my mother had, and my dying father had? Because anytime you're in prison, you always think, I just want to make it home to my parents because my parents were older. Just want to make it home to my parents so I can make it right. But for somebody to take your freedom, because I vowed while I was sitting in prison that I vowed to be forgiving to anybody that I hurt, anybody that, got hurt in anything that I was doing. I vowed to give back. That's why I started Silent Heart, give back to the community, help the community. I vowed to help people in who's locked up, you know, for these unjust laws. I've helped people come home from prison. I helped 3 people come home from prison, working in prison reform. So when a person, just because you have that right, because you making money from the government, it ain't like me or like any other woman. I was in prison with 600 women at a time. I've heard multiple stories. I don't blame those women who got caught up and might have had to take the stand and tell and get a little time so they can run home to get to their kids. But when you have a woman that's like dirtball, piece of shit ass woman that sits there and make money from the government and say, oh, because I'm a government informant, I could take your fucking freedom away from you. Prison is like almost death. You can't go no farther down. It's prison, then it's dying, or it's dying and then prison. So when you do this kind of thing, you fuck up people's life. So when I had this show, here I go again, trying to help everybody around me. This happened. I had to walk away from that. I walked away from that. I had to walk away. My probation officer said, we're going to make a deal with you. We're going to investigate this, but you're going to have to walk away from anything that you got going on with them. So I walked away from, that was a way for me to take care of myself when I came home from prison. Struggle for years. Here it come before the BMF show come. Everybody going at my head. Tammy Cohen again started doing these interviews. I get a book deal. Here they come with this whole story again. What is this? What is this? Why is this woman? I want to know. I want you to put this piece in this because I really want to know. I want her to face me. I want her to face the world like when she put out these interviews for me. I want her to feel like she made me feel when I had to go back, almost go back to prison. I want to know, why did you do that?
All right, so there you have it. Tammy is obviously a criminal informant, and my thinking is, after her husband died in 2007, there was like some kind of affidavit where she was saying that, like, you know, they used to live this lavish lifestyle, and after he passed, I guess she got like a total of $300,000, and I guess it probably ran out, and she needed to do something. So the DEA probably knew, you know, her husband. He was probably on their radar. They were like, you know what, you come in and work for us, line up some members of his circle, and, you know, we gonna pay you, because they paid her like $250,000 over the course of a few years. You feel me? But as far as Meech, I don't know what to say. I don't know if he actually knew what was going on, or if this bitch just out here playing Game of Thrones, trying to get all the rights to the show for herself. I mean, how did she get in the position that she is? They're talking about, you know, she just wrote him through letters. It's like, okay, but Meech seems like he would be smarter than that to fall for some chick who's just writing them letters. She says she met Meech in 2003. So who knows? This whole thing, like I said, this whole thing could be a movie unto itself. And probably, from the sounds of it, it'd be a really good one. But that's my video for today, guys. Hey, if you're new to the channel and you made it this far, make sure you hit that subscribe button and make sure you hit the bell icon. That way you get notified every time I drop a new video. And make sure while you guys are down there, hit that like button, you guys. Hey, go for this video 1,000 likes. Make sure you hit that like button. Let's help the video out. Get it out here in the algorithm. YouTube knows, hey, let's start showing these videos to more people. But for now, it's your boy Charm. I'm up out of here.